fixing them, how much time are they going to need to fix, is a very difficult thing. Gen.G and JDG have had a little bit of that time. They've come in looking very strong into EWC. Unfortunately for each other, they are now facing off here in the quarterfinals, and one of them ain't going any further. Draft has already begun. Gen.G lock in the Galio-Jarvan combo, but they gave up an Orianna to do so.
Yeah, and there's still quite a few options there, like the Nocturne is actually up, so this is a champion that does pair very nicely. You do see the Ziggs. It was JDG that did pick up that first pick phase, but it was Gen.G locking in blue side, as they did win too. So looking at the Ziggs, they might be locking the Camille here too. Maybe even a Leona could be a good option, but I think the Camille, so aggressive, and I love it with this Orianna pick.
And it's great with the Ziggs as well, because you lock someone in with that ultimate to prevent them from escaping. The Ziggs is also just fine farming by himself, so you can go and roam around as that Camille and not care too much about it. And as you can see it there, they are definitely going to lock it in, because the other side is you give it up to Duro, you get Camille, Galio, Jarvan as a combo, which may be a touch too much.
Yeah, and I still like the Galio here. It does do really well into the Orianna. You can go a little bit of that damage, but you can also go the tank out route, and you can go for a Hollows and see if you can just clear those waves and start making those heroes entrances across the map.
And now you add in another global in the Shen, and it does feel like Shen has been something of a, I don't want to necessarily say answer. There's the words I was looking for in English. But you can respond to a Camille blade by pressing R. Your ability to put down a Spirit's Refuge is actually a really good way of invalidating a fair amount of that Camille burst. We have started to see some of our supports say, hey, this is how I'm going to deal with the Camille. You roam very well, you add in that extra global, and that can be a potent tool in its own right. Second phase of bans coming on through, though, and of course, Gen.G are going to look at JunJia's champion pool and saying, hey, how many Orianna ball carriers can we remove? Neferi is very strong, and I imagine something like the Nocturne will not be far behind.
Yeah, Xin Zhao is also one of those other champions too, still up and available, so it is a great option too. The Crescent Guard's going to be able to get them all sort of spaced out, isolate your pick, so we'll have to see if JDG really wants to start looking at those sort of champion pools that can just get in there and dive, but I think it really is on, it's going to be on Vampire really taking that ball in most likely. I think it's more about finding a follow-up champion that can back them up a little bit more. We did see the Ornn as well, it was picked up by Impact the other day. Now it's about finding the right matchup in the top side that's going to ease off that pressure so they do have the ability to just go in.
Look, for Gen.G, the go buttons are there. Jarvan, Galio, Shen, very, very dangerous. You've got the first punch. You need something to fill the shot glass that Jarvan's putting on down. Few options still available for obvious reasons, but I'm imagining Ruler will be tasked with a fair amount of the damage profile here. We're also imagining the Shen is going support. Theoretically, Kiin could lock it top as well, so a little bit of flexibility there to consider. You see the Vayne ban there, just in case, suggests they might be looking at something like a Gnar for Xiaoxu. He's also a big Renekton player, for my money. He is the best Renekton, Renekton is his best champion, up there with Bin as the best Renektons in the LPL. Nocturne does get banned, again, not entirely a surprise. This would theoretically flex a Shen to the top side, though.
But they are now looking at the Jhin as well, so seeing that Seraphine, we did see it again yesterday, it was Pays in T1, running that quite well, landing a great encore here, there, and everywhere. So seeing this in the AP carry mode, I do like it. I think it's going to really facilitate the team fight that it is Gen.G putting around. It needs to get online pretty quickly, though. Got to get that Blackfire Torch quick smart so you can start doing that burn damage.
Yeah, and again, we just need to wait and see exactly where it does end up, because you're right, we have started to see AP carry again. But with the Shen there, there's still a world where you throw the Shen top, you throw the Seraphine into the support, and obviously with the way that flexibility is available, makes things a bit spicy. Adding in a bit more damage now are JDG in between the Ziggs and the Jace, and to a lesser extent the Orianna. Your poke is disgusting. Sure, you can burst someone out inside that Camille ult, but you can also just sit at 2 screens away and keep hitting those Q buttons.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a bit hard, but you do have a little bit of that sustain too. Like, you can't forget that Seraphine's going to keep you a little bit healthy, some good shields here, there, and everywhere. But okay, the Trundle being picked up here as well. Now for the jungle, what do you make of that?
So it makes the Galio, the Shen, lesser extent the Jarvan, have a bit of a tough time with it. Your ability to make aggressive plays is now largely predicated on Vampire having a very good game. He's the one that can consistently go forwards. However, for JDG, if you are able to get into the river first and then sit there with a Camille off vision, with the Orianna zone control, and just keep throwing out poke with the vision control, with Gen.G obligated to come into you, you have a lot more tools. Going into the river yourself, a little bit harder. And I'm also looking at Gen.G now, who have locked in that Olaf. They are going to lock in that Seraphine as the APC. It is Bruiser. It is Run at You. They do have that ability to close, and the poke is going to have to be pretty mighty indeed to chunk out a lot of these members. But the range advantage certainly there for JDG. Also, Enchanter with a laning Olaf is always potent in the mid game. Back when Olaf was last meta in the jungle, Olaf Lulu, Olaf Seraphine, great combination. Works very well here as well.
I just really like what Gen.G's decided to do. It's protect the president. They need to keep this Seraphine alive. If they're not dealing this damage, if they're going to let Olaf be that front line, just charge into the back line too, they need to be very careful of where they're positioning in these team fights. If they don't, if one gets caught out, they're still going to get blown up. It's not just the poke they have to be worried about. It's where they are positioning in these team fights, and they need to be in the right place at the right time, or they're just going to get caught.
I think the same will apply for JD Gaming here as well, because they have got effectively no tank. You have got full damage, full range, full sort of like consistent artillery pieces. You have obviously got things like the Camille to potentially put a combo down, but it doesn't really have a supporting pair diving with you. You've got the mortars to follow up on you, but for this Camille, it's a one-way journey.
Yes.
There will be a Galio ult, there will be a Jarvan ult, there will be a Shen ult. You are going to have to be a very fed Camille to get back out of that.
Yep.
That means that if you lose control, you lose vision around these objectives, hell around these side lanes, double global of Shen, of Jarvan going forward with a Galio on top as well, your ability to just say, cool, I've got a Seraphine, I've got an Olaf, we have come out of the blackness of the forest, you've dropped all vision, and just run at you, and the Jace goes, I press EQ.
Yeah.
Pray. Well, what do you do? Like you just don't have that damage. And the moment the gap is closed, it is a tough time for JDG, especially in those side lanes. Get head to the rift, and you can hear the JDG crowds throwing out the LPL special, the Gios into the fightings. Adol versus fighting. It's crazy here in EWC in Paris.
Quarterfinals, this is where you make it or break it. It is on these two teams to show up here today in this best of three. It's all on Chovy and Gen.G trying to hold this title a little bit longer, but it's on JDG to show up here today and crush that key.
Look, I don't know about all of you back home, but I am grinning ear to ear. I cannot wait for this game. Some fun drafts, make no mistake about it. I think I prefer Gen.G's on the face of it. I think it's easier to execute. I think they can play around side lanes better. I think they've got more tools to play out the game. They can ingress into the river if they want to. And I think JDG, the comp works, but it is a narrower window to execute. The floor to it is higher. We'll see whether they can pull it off against one of the very best teams in the world.
Yeah, and I think some players that we're going to call out that have been probably of note, I would say, it is going to be HongQ and JunJia.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they have actually been looking really good in this mid-jungle duo. So I'm really excited to see.
You know all about them.
I do. Like, XLCP, like, they were the stars there. They went to the LPL for a reason, right? So I'm excited to see how they're going to perform here too. But I feel like the nuts and bolts of this comp for JDG is a little bit more towards this bot side. Like you said, Vampire on this Camille needs to be really proactive, get these early leads, and be, I'd say, quite aggressive.
Look, and the other side of that then is you have got arguably JDG's most important players, and I'm not always going to say best players, that can be a different question, but most important players are often a player like HongQ, who has been mechanically very consistent, very high level since his journey over to the LPL. Sure, there's been some questions about the side laning, you know about that one, that's improved, but still just his mechanical might is so key, and he's on an Orianna here as well. One of the champions that has defined this year, and frankly the last couple years in League of Legends, when it's been allowed free.
Yeah, but it's a tough order because you are up against Chovy, one of the players known throughout LoL Esports history as being one of the most mechanically gifted players too. So you got to raise that question, is HongQ up for the challenge?
Well, right, because, I mean, at this point, Faker is the GOAT, the greatest player to ever touch the game. There is perhaps an argument about who the boat is, and it's an argument. I don't want to necessarily give definitive answers there, but if you're looking at a player who can put his name in the hat and say, hey, I've hit mechanical highs that maybe no one else ever has. Chovy's ability to lane, Chovy's ability to dominate on practically any matchup is right up there. We all have seen the numbers. We've all seen how good this guy can be. And when HongQ's very important, that can be frustrating then when you're against a player like Chovy.
Yeah, and I'm loving to see some early rotations here. Vampires making their way up to this mid side as, yeah, it is Chovy walking up, low health, low mana, but smart enough to back off.
Yeah, and you can sort of see that Kiin was just having a look topside, getting that ward down against the Jace. Theoretically, eventually, the Olaf can eventually run at the Jace, and it gets very difficult to escape, I suspect. And indeed, it is that Storm Raider surge on the Jace. It'll be Ghost Blade as well, because your plan is, when the Olaf runs at you, you run faster.
Yeah, and Vampire down here again, they got the early rotation, but has come back, does sweep it out, but decides maybe it's not worth really going for this early big fight. Ruler's doing a good job just staying back. They did, I don't think, let's just stay. They've just been very conservative with their mana, not taking any too much poke, so it's a really nice, simple laning phase we're seeing is, okay, Vampire just clearing out these wards. Nice
Easy
work.
enough.
But now they know it's all warded up, and they have to be very careful. Gen.G is going to be a bit harder for Duro to leave this lane, I would say.
I think that is a fair assessment. Again, JDG, what they do have is a lot of potential shoving lanes. They've certainly got the range matchups here. Bot lane a little different, obviously, because obviously the Seraphine is there, but the Olaf, the Galio, you're into Jace, you're into Orianna, who have got that range, got that excessive wave clear that will likely mean they get some priority in the early stage of the game, and we know what that can mean for your junglers. And if there's another player who has been very important to JDG, not always their best again, it's JunJia. Earlier in the year, we had a bit of a nickname for JDG, and that was JunJia Dice Gaming, because as JunJia went, so did JDG often. You would use his scoreline as a litmus test for the game. If he was 0-4, it was a bad time. If he was 4-0, you were having a great time. And that inconsistency raised some eyebrows. There were conversations that Tabe was having about, hey, our jungle and support aren't that synchronized right now. Kiin,
hey, good knock back. The flash is good.
Wow.
Kiin is low. The ignite is ticking. It's enough, and it's going to be first blood. Xiaoxu very happy with that, and a great rotate up from Vampire with the flash. Go forward. Now it is Duro looking to go into mid. HongQ being taken out towards her. Good. Duro picks up the kill. Nice one-for-one trade across the map.
Look, the roaming supports get onto the map and they get active early. The Camille goes top, the Shen goes mid. Both are successful. JunJia now in this mid lane with Vampire around, though, makes this spicy.
Yeah, doing a lot as there goes the pill. It's going to be enough as it is Chovy trying to hold on, but it's a lot of damage. Holding it out a little bit more. They get out, but it's still a 1-for-1 on both sides. Oh, only a little bit of a gold lead heading over to JDG.
Okay, let's take stock. It is that little bit of a gold lead that's largely off the CS numbers, but good from Gen.G and Duro in particular to make that roam happen. Very successful there and gets an important kill against HongQ we've been chatting about already. Vampire also very, very happy with this early start on the Camille. Dragon's happening as we speak about it for JDG. The Canyon's around.
Yeah, there's the flag, but is the drag going to be there? Is this a spot? He's stolen! Canyon, happy with this one, might have lost his life for it, but a flash over the wall gets them to safety, and the Canyon diff might be coming in. It's an early drag to Gen.G.
Oh, hang on, there's a bit of a chunk onto HongQ here as well. The shockwave
is good. The taunt is still there, just locked up. There's not much you can do, but oh no, HongQ survives. The potion keeps them thrilling up, and nice plays out of JDG to hold on.
Vampire's gonna have to try and clear out the wave as Chovy just walked beyond the turret and said, if you walk up here to hit these minions, I will just cue you with the Winds of War and you will die. So that's still gonna be something back there for Gen.G, but we'll have a look at this play topside as our observers have given us the cinematic death sequence for Kiin.
It's always my favorite, especially when you get such a play like that. Beautiful knockback after the flash, and there it is, Vampire on the line secures it. So really good there. It is going to be a little bit easier for Xiaoxu in this top side as well with that first blood, but gold is still fairly even, same with the CS, so the Kiin's never really out of these games.
No, it's not, and again, Kiin being down the double summoners kind of sucks a little bit, but he's even enough in CS, and eventually you will hit a point where your Ghost is up faster than Jace's Flash, and there is that ability to look for those all-ins, especially because one of Jace's big tools is that ability to knock your way in the melee form and get out to safety. Not that simple as yet, because of course once you hit the level 6 you can't do that. Steel Caps will help with the chunking. Of course on the other side, once Xiaoxu gets that Ghost Blade, between that and the Acceleration Gate and the Storm Raider Surge, you should be able to get that move speed differential. The worry becomes in those extended long lanes, you get hit by too many of those undertows and you aren't quick enough anymore to escape a ghosting, ulting Olaf.
No, and I'm loving these slight lane rotations as well, as we see our bot side moving up to top and vice versa. So good to see that they're trying to move around the map, and really good work. Kiin able to hold that wave just a little bit longer, keeps them a little bit up in tempo too. So we'll have to see if Gen.G can start to claw a little bit of his goal back, as Gold's still dead even. Still 1 kill to 1 kill, but a Dragon up and Void Grubs in 10 seconds.
Yeah, it is, and I just looked down at the mid lane, and Chovy is Chovy, isn't he? He's managed to pick himself a Potency as largely off the full court fact, of course, that HongQ ended up chunked out, died that one time. There's a second gank on in there, but it's still giving this Galio a good starting point for the game. Let's move a look towards that top side. The Grubs are being started by Canyon. I'm not really seeing a contest here from JDG as it stands.
No, this is great, honestly. Canyon being very aggressive, got the Dragon, so that was the steal that we were hoping to see. But now, Chovy being caught out as two members going forward. JunJia double taunt is good, but knocked up the pillar, disabled it. JunJia still tanking. Chovy likes those odds, but still, Xiaoxu picking up the kill.
Hey, you're in a 2v1, you'll take the kill as you go, but you are still going to lose the wave, so JDG not unhappy either. Canyon now mid, though. HongQ, without the flash, needs to get running fast.
Yeah, has the shockwave available, but not much mana to back up, so HongQ might have just been bitten off a little bit too much, and Ruler picks up the kill. Gen.G, they're coming online.
Ruler by name, ruler by nature. He's missing the crown here, and he'd like to retain it here for EWC. But look at this bot lane play again. Chovy gets the double taunt, and the turret shots do a lot of work. The pillar was a nice idea, but it's not enough to confirm an escape there, a clean kill, and so it does go to that 1-for-1. Chovy will take what he can get from that, frankly.
Yeah, now we're starting to see a little bit of gold swinging just in the top side too. It's a 1.2k gold lead for Xiaoxu, so this Jace is definitely going to start hurting as we head towards this mid game. It's only 9 minutes, but I can just imagine some of these shock blasts are going to hurt just a little bit too much. So you've got to be very careful. If you get caught unawares or caught in some vision, you're going to get blasted.
So, Xiaoxu topside got himself a nominal gold lead because he's got those 2 kills. That's not nominal, that's a significant gold. It's a nominal CS lead, is what I want to say. But those 2 kills have got him to that Ghost Blade early, and this is one of those matchups that if it goes wrong for the Jace, there isn't a lot of coming back because the Olaf just runs you down every time. If you do get ahead, though, you can keep the Olaf at distance. You can keep chunking him out. Sure, Olaf is good at low HP, but he still has to commit to the all-in at some point. That's a lot harder now from the position that Kiin is in. The problem is the rest of the map isn't exactly in a shining spot for Gen.G, and frankly for me, it's their composition as a whole later on that will prove to be very dangerous because the Death Ball is diabolical. Phenomenal. Galio with a Seraphine ult flying on top, Olaf running at you with all those speeds up and a Shen on top of him. That's going to get really annoying to try and keep distance from as JDG.
Yeah, and as it's starting to slow down just a little bit more now that the objectives are off the board, 20 seconds to that Dragon that is going to be up. We'll have to see where the priority is going to be, as you're getting some good deep vision out of JDG in the bot side jungle of Gen.G, so they're definitely trying to track out where Canyon's going to be so they can find where they're going to be trying to make that proactive play or potentially even look for another steal.
Yeah, and again, now that these level 6s are through, you've got to be very, very careful, I think, as JDG, because any move you do make has the potential of having a Galio turn up on you. Duro's halfway to level 6, so doesn't quite have that. Okay. A bit of a play from Chovy against level taunt.
It's going to be good. It's HongQ, maybe looking for a little bit more. Shockwave dives, Hextech ultimatum is even better, but Chovy has the damage, gets cancelled out the hero's entrance. Ignites Sigma, Duro picked up Vampire. HongQ doesn't have much left in the tank. Canyon picking up kills, and it's a 2-for-1.
All right, congratulations, you got Chovy, but at what cost? Gen.G were there to defend their mid lane and ensure he died dearly. You get the mid laner. This key superstar from JDG is 0-3. HongQ is not having a great time right now because Gen.G keep picking him up on offensive and defensive plays.
Just being slightly caught out. They think they have the cap. They think they have the move forward, and it's just a little bit too far gone, and they can't get too far out. But Chovy's doing such a good job with these taunts, catching 2 at a time, almost every single time we see him on the screen. As the second Dragon secured for Gen.G, we have to watch this replay.
Yes, we do, because Chovy started off with a double taunt, and you think, hey, maybe he's gone too far. There's the Hextech ultimatum. There's an encore that comes on through, though, from Ruler, which makes it a lot messier of an affair. Even that hero's entrance shield just buys a bit of time into the primarily magic damage burst that was coming on through, because it was HongQ who was trying to do the work there, and that's what ends up costing them that little bit too much time.
And it was JunJia with that really nice pillar that just stopped the hero's entrance from going through. I think if it went off, it could have been a very different fight yet again. Chovy might just have died, but still, I think it was going to be pretty impactful because they were trying to collapse.
It's also very odd timing, right? Because you're trapped in the Hextech ultimatum, and my understanding is that would still pull you back if you try to ult. So you need to time it so the Hextech ultimatum times out as you finish casting. What it also did, though, was give you the shield, because even if it doesn't complete, you still get the shield. And that magic damage shield is very helpful into the Orianna. So it's a very little bit tight, intricate bit there. Honestly, I'd love to go back and review that probably after the game myself. That's what we're doing in my spare time. Guess what I do? I'm a nerd about League of Legends. It's kind of a part of the job. So we'll keep an eye on that one.
I keep watching it. I dream about it. It's a little bit scary, but
you cast it, you play it, you watch it. What do you do in your day? Well, League of Legends, it turns out.
Yeah, maybe go to the beach, but I'm still watching it there
right,
too.
Lucky for you. Yeah. All right, rub it in a bit more.
But no, gold now still only about 500 up for Gen.G, but we have found our soul as well, as the second dragon was confirmed. It is an infernal soul on the board, so getting those little cinders across the map, it's going to be nice. But that extra damage across the board for whoever starts to stack these will feel really good, and it's going to make it a lot harder to deal with, because if we see JDG picking up all of these dragons from here on out, the shock damage is going to be huge.
Yeah, it is. And Xiaoxu now going to be forced off his own turret. That's going to give Kiin the opportunity to take away some of this gold lead that have been building against him. And look, you are in the picture-in-picture. You have got yourself a Ziggs. You are able to satchel that down. Do get some gold back, but again, it's not coming for free, and it's helping even Kiin up that touch. Because again, he's going to be a relatively key part of this composition, because you're an Olaf with all this support behind you, going to be one of the key Shen carriers. And Gen.G's composition isn't the highest damage. It's got great sustain, it's got great brawl, and JDG being able to shove through to a tier 2 here. Ziggs plus Trundle, even without the grubs, is a potent turret destruction combination.
Yeah, it's like, you'd have to look at the math of that. Is who is actually stronger? Is it Ziggs, Trundle, or is it going to be just Gen.G right now with the grubs? Like, what is the actual stats of that? We'll have to find out, but that's maybe for the in between games again. But still, 2 towers for 1. It's a really good trade, and yeah, it is JDG taking the lead with gold.
Yeah, it's about 700. Of course, they've still got to be aware of the fact that we are 2 dragons down. That 600 gold lead is nice, but you are still going to have to deal with this big death ball of a composition rather, at this next dragon fight that will be in about 2 minutes. Got Herald to consider as well. If you get that plus a Ziggs, maybe you can start to open the map up a little bit more, and that means that JDG can get to a river, but there's a fight first. Vampire hook shots out cleanly.
Yeah, nah, really good catch there, but still not enough. Vampire hyper mobility, able to get away from all of this, but that does mean the Rift Herald has started up. Vampire's just a little bit low. It's not too much, enough to come back in, but still scary enough that it goes wrong. Could be disastrous. JunJia is looking for a little bit more. Shen's trying to get those taunts in there, trying to get JunJia just a little bit lower, maybe enough to force them back off, but it is JDG taking control of the river.
That it is. They get the chunk. They don't get too much more. The wards are there for JDG, and it's Red Side's their ability to throw out poke with a Ziggs, with theoretically a Jace. I'll note that Kiin has got the shove right now. Makes it a bit tricky. Duro eating a fair amount of damage. Herald down to half.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a little bit of a fight, but see the TP's now coming in. We do want to see Chovy joining this fight, and maybe that's enough to say, okay, we've got the TP out. Maybe we just have to give.
Yeah, you saw JunJia just went towards that bot side. He's going for the Raptors. They're going for mid lane. They've got the Trundle and the Ziggs. He's got a Trinity Force to Dream. They can't quite satchel it, though. Kiin around looking for the undertow.
Yeah, let's see if they can take this fight. It's the Flash Cataclysm! Hero's Entrance is going to catch HongQ. And where's the Encore to follow up? Ruler has the damage. It's all a little bit too much for JDG. They catch one with a Rift Herald on top and a really nice pick. The damage is just getting worse. Look at Gala.
The CC chain is unending. You get caught in the Cataclysm. In comes the Galluel. In comes the Encore. It's not the highest damage necessarily, but it's a squishy comp for the side of JDG, and they get taken down.
And we talked about the snap potential of JDG. What about the snap potential of Gen.G? That was lightning fast. The Flash Cataclysm just locked them in, and when you don't have anything up, where do you go?
Look, you've got a composition that full sends really well. The issue that I was noting for JDG was, hey, what happens if the distance does get closed? We just saw. That is going to be an issue that is consistent. You've got very limited frontline. It's a Trundle with Subjugate and a Dream. Sure, you've got some ability. Yes, you've got range, but there is flashes. There is the ability to just run at you, and that will be tricky, especially now there's a Battle Herald and Gen.G in the river first. JDG have to find a way in or give up Soul Point and more.
Yeah, looking just for a simple charge off, going to get those crystals, but nice. No, the pillar is good. Just going to stop it and not going to be able to take this tower most likely. But now they're trying to look at this dragon. It is up. It's the first Soul Dragon that we're going to get in the game of the Infernals. I have to see if we can get a little bit more control. Gen.G in this river very comfortably. Xiaoxu is slightly on the flank. Is a little bit of overstepping here from Gen.G, but it's nothing to be too worried about. I think they are strong enough that they can take these fights. But now it's about who's getting that snap engage, and I think Gen.G might have a little bit more in the tank.
They've got a lot of wards down. They've got the Jace on the flank, potentially for JDG, but they're not landing that much. Both the encore is extended and Gala flashes. I don't think he needed to. That was a little bit of a panic to me.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. It's their Vampire looking a little bit more.
Look at Xiaoxu.
Caught, but there is just so much damage. Gen.G in the back line too. Xiaoxu takes out the Shen. It's too much though. Look at Canyon throwing everything out. Hero's entrance just for a nice little shield. The shockwave is good. Kiin is so low. And to be very careful. The Ragnarok is not available. Throwing it out. The bomb doesn't land. And it's still so huge.
Good body block there on the side as well. The rest of Gen.G put a wall up and denied the shot from Xiaoxu. It gets Kiin out. It ends up being the 2-for-1, and the health bars for Gen.G are higher. The problem is Canyon not around quite yet, had to reset, and I wonder what that means. We'll have another attempt at a play here. There is a teleport on Gala. He can reset and come right back out and do it again as Xiaoxu is trying to keep Chovy honest.
Yeah, no, it's good. Shields are still nice, but okay, Xiaoxu needs to be very careful. It's a lot of shits coming in. There's a flash coming out. There's a double flash again, trying to catch you unawares. 3-0. No, it's all too much. Canyon holding on. Vampire looking to join this fight, slowing down the pace. HongQ trying to be slowly pushed back, but it is still Gen.G winning out the fight.
It's a close run thing, make no mistake about it. But Gen.G come out on top again. Wait,
looking
for the Duro.
It's all a little bit out Duro. Yeah, able to get over the wall. Still here with that ignite. They have to be careful. Dragon is still low, it's only on 4.
Gala with 5 seconds on his ultimate. Keep an eye on that Mega Inferno Bomb as Duro's been chunked again.
Yeah, let's see. Kiin is just in this pit. So was Canyon. JunJia and HongQ looking for a bit more. Vampire's low, but it is 3k on this Dragon's health. JunJia wants to contest a little bit more. Duro's just so low. One hit could be a bad time. Here comes Chovy. There's a lot of damage going forward. JunJia, Mega Inferno Bomb hits, and it's Kiin who picks up the kill. Jungler down, and they can turn back to the Dragon's sole point for Gen.G.
They thought maybe with the Subjugate, JunJia could just stand there with the Ziggs behind. It wasn't enough. They've jumped onto Chovy, but he's got enough to get out there. He's got a Storm Raider Surge and an Abyssal Mask. He's out and in a phenomenal position with the rest of Gen.G. They have sole point, and we are seeing the issues with JDG's composition. If they have to fight their way into the river, there is so much HP to get through, and the Encore, and the Galio, and the Taunt, and the list goes on. The CC chain is difficult, and if you have to get into melee range to get through those choke points, things get tricky. We'll look at the replay because it's going to be an extended one. This is Chovy at the second play, fighting with Xiaoxu, and a ult comes in from Duro, who had that from the last fight. Gets to jump on the Jace, and that's a significant portion of your damage just dead. Things got a little dicey though, because Chovy was low. Duro kind of gets a bit caught out here, trying to ward off the flanks in a second or two. We'll come back to live though, as what really happened at the end of that was JunJia tried to fight with the Gala ult from the Ziggs, and it didn't work out. They just didn't have the burst. They just didn't have the tankiness on the Ziggs. Trundle, that's the one I'm looking for.
That's the one. No, but that's okay. Because now they're looking for a dive here. It's a bit. Xiaoxu really not having a good time. They got those early kills. The Encore doesn't land, but Vampire doesn't have far to go. Has to flash. They're going to be able to take this one underneath our Hextech ultimatum. Is good, but not enough.
He's feeling kind of numb. He's caught in that undertow. I'll leave the Linkin Park references alone, but alas, Vampire is still dead. You can miss all of the abilities you like. The moment the slows land, you flashed away. There's nowhere for you to go. The hook shot's nowhere near short enough for cooldown to escape from there. Kiin's going to get a turret off, and the gold lead begins to balloon for Gen.G.
Yeah, and you got to look at this top side as well. We saw it was those 2 kills. Xiaoxu looking really comfortable in this early game. It's just flipped in total. Kiin 4-1, looking so... the graphic couldn't have come at a better time. It read my mind. But beautiful work there. This Olaf is starting to make these moves, and the Ragnarok is getting the effects we wanted to see.
Yeah, it very much is, and... this was something we called out a little bit in the game, saying, hey, Jace wants that early lead because he needs to be able to keep the distance. The moment it starts going wrong, it keeps going wrong because Olaf just gets to run at you, and the moment he's on top of you, the Jace struggles to disengage unless he's able to play with that HP advantage, with that ability to run away with the Ghost Blade, with the acceleration gate, and potentially a Storm Raider Surge. That isn't really the case anymore. And of course, you start to look towards these side lane plays. You've got double globals and a lot of ability to dive. What does a Jace do to survive under his turret against the combined might of a Gen.G dive? Honestly, I don't think there's a lot you can do. Not be there, frankly.
Yeah, just pick your place to be. Maybe under a tower isn't the safest place to be. Maybe you need to have a couple friends with you.
And they tried to bring Vampire down, right, but it just wasn't enough. And you're hitting the point now that with a Ragnarok and a Hex Plate, this Olaf will nearly always, for every play, have that ability to go CC and mute.
Yeah. It's going to be very hard to get through, but still, as the tankiness is going to start building up, they're now looking to get that little bit of magic resist so they can survive the onslaught that is the Ziggs and the Orianna. So I like the itemization here as Canyon trying to be a little bit sneaky. Have to be careful as Flag Drag still available. JunJia is there. Hero's Entrance on the back. Cataclysm keeps them locked in, but the damage just really isn't there. But no, it's Chovy. There's the Encore. Flash has come out. Look at Kiin on the backside in between two towers trying to take on Xiaoxu, but the tower in mid picked up by Gen.G.
Very cleanly done. And again, they can't even fight if they're in Raptor camps at this point. Any fight has a global, has a teleport, and at this point, because Gen.G are ahead enough, sure, you've gone for more of a bruiser, more of a high tank, high CC composition. You've got enough damage at this point that they're squishy. Behind members, frankly, of JDG do not have enough stats in the bag to be able to fight this out. It was always a risky composition to my mind. They are not able to hold the artillery line. They are not able to control the map. That means there is no vision advantage and things get tricky. And that will be important because in 40 seconds, Infernal Soul, oh boy.
That is where the damage really starts to kick in. Doesn't matter what kind of champion you're playing, tank, mage, AD carry, it does not matter. You'll be doing a lot of damage.
Right, keep an eye on these items. You've at least got a Shadow Flame for Gala. You've at least got a Rocket Belt and the Muramana transformation for Xiaoxu. 2 items on your carries for JDG. The problem is you look at Ruler, there's an Imperial Mandate to match Chovy's. You have still got those half items to full item completions ahead. Arm guard as well for this Galio.
Yeah, and Duro might have been caught out. Hextech Ultimatum does come down. JunJia is here. Xiaoxu tried to get a little bit more, is trying to survive just a little bit more of this onslaught, but they are very tanky still.
And the thing is, he can reset, and he's still got the ult. He can get back in that global, bring it right back in his Chovy.
Duro doesn't land. It's just a little bit unawares. To see if Chovy's able to go back in and do a little bit more, but Taunt is now on cooldown, so you have to be careful as this fight is going to brew.
The thing is, the poke can now start to be dangerous. Watch the skill shots come out. It will be the Mortar Brigade trying to fire out the artillery. Can they lock it in? Gen.G ceding a little bit of control here.
Yeah, really nice to see that they are just sort of whittling their way into the river. The vision control is still there. They have a little bit more. They have the scuttle picked up. Now they're trying to do a little bit more, but look at the flank angle. Look at Canyon. The steal is possible.
Look at Ruler, as you noted as well. They're trying to split things up. Vampire warding off the Jarvan.
Yeah, they're waiting for someone to make the clutch play, but there it is. There's the flag and drag. JunJia gone. Duro picks up the kill. Jungle around. It's a free soul if ever I've seen it. And Gen.G are looking really strong.
Look, you can see what JDG's comp is trying to do. Sit there and poke and whittle people down so that when the full send happens from JDG, or Gen.G rather, they don't have the HP to make it work. The poke doesn't land, the damage isn't there. JunJia's forced to enter the pit and he doesn't leave alive. It gives Soul, it gives Baron, it's likely giving game to Gen.G, the defending EWC chaps.
They're holding on to that key with their dear life, and you know what? They don't have to hold on very hard at all. Baron secured 26 minutes into the game, and they're looking to make a victory march here, probably in every single lane.
Look, there's more games to play. JDG can go back to the drawing board. They can play again. It's not done yet, but game 1 at the very least is looking all but over for Gen.G. The gold graph was even enough, but we had some concerns about, hey, is this gold realistically going to be enough? You needed to get ahead and stay ahead and not give up something like Soul Point and the river control that came with it with a composition like this. It is proving too much, and now with all of these items, this death ball online with all the globals, it is so easy to play the map wide and focus simultaneously, frankly.
That's it. You can already see that it's a 1-3-1. You do have Chovy down on this bot side. Yeah, Kiin was up at the top, but now they're sort of starting to look to go back into this mid. They want to start taking these towers a little bit faster. You have the Baron, you can leave some forward, but this is where the gold is really going to start snowballing, because tower tier 2 in mid, tier 2 in bot, they're taking simultaneously. Now it's about taking these inhibs and getting these supers online.
The engine continues to grind away at JDG's options. Duro into the base, and he's uncaring of what JDG can offer. Sure, you can pull the trigger, but on who? And who do you blow up in time before the Galio ult is there, before the Shen ult is there? They're trying onto Kiin.
Yeah, they're looking as they've got 3 members looking for it, but the Ragnarok is good. Flash comes out, Hero's entrance. 3 members come in. Cataclysm, Taunt. It's a bit too much for JDG. They tried to be proactive, but they couldn't. Oh, could have been a flip. Kiin was low, but it's not enough. They still have the minions. They're still moving forward. They took the bot in here. And now, Vampire trying to hold on. Could not suck enough blood to stay alive. And now they're looking at the Nexus. Gen.G looking exceptional in K1 of this best of 3. And they want that title run.
They can't even get a kill with the fountain. It just doesn't work out for JD Gaming this time around. Gen.G, EWC winners in 25, continuing their journey, at least in game 1 here in 2026.
And here in France, they're eating good tonight.